In section 6 of chapter 1, we're going to do subtraction of real numbers. Now, the closest thing we're going to have ever to subtraction, as we think of it in arithmetic, is this expression or equation right here. 9 minus 7 is 2. Because in algebra, we tend to think of these as being 9 plus a negative 7. So what we've converted here is subtraction to addition. Okay? So this is going to happen quite frequently. These are equivalent statements, as they illustrate by the rule here. So let's go on. So when you see two negative numbers like this, you're going to use the rule, just add up their absolute values, which is 17, and then apply the negative sign. Now here you have to do a little modification, because this is subtracting the opposite, or the opposite of a negative makes this a positive, and then this is an 11. And here again, you're going to subtract the smaller from the larger, which is 3, and apply the sign of the larger absolute value. Here again, the opposite of a negative makes it a positive. So this becomes a positive 6. And the work is all there. So we are subtracting. Again, the two negative signs make that a positive. Here we're just going to combine our numerators. They're both negative. So that will be a negative 8 over 10, which reduces to a negative 4/5. Here I'll do letter C for you. You want to find out what's your common denominator, and we can change these signs too while we're thinking about it. It's going to be 15. 3 times what? 3 times 5. So this becomes a negative 10. And then 5 times 3, 4 times 3. So we end up with 2/15. Now, this could be tricky, so be careful. And what does this say here? Subtract 8 from. So we put the from first, and now subtract 8. I can tell you a few students had this wrong because they weren't able to interpret this correctly. So from the negative 4, you're going to subtract an 8. Now in the next example, we're going to see a series of things. And again, what will be your strategy? Well, I would think here you'd want to get rid of the parentheses, make this a plus, and then what you might do is add all your pluses together and get 16, and your negatives together and get a negative 22. And then you're going to subtract the smaller from the larger and get 6 and apply the larger absolute sign, which is negative. And there we have it right there. And on this one, this is going to be a plus. Add these two together, and then subtract that from it, and you'll get this. Okay, and then let's work this step by step here. This is going to be a negative 7 and a negative 2. This will become a negative 9. And a negative 3 will be a negative 12. And here, this is going to be a positive 10, but it comes out as a negative because of the negative sign in front. So we have 8 minus 10 plus, now the opposite of a 5, a negative 5 is a positive 5, so this comes out as a negative 1 here. So we have a negative 11 and a positive 8 gives us a negative 3. And we'll see that in a moment. Right there. Okay, here they want us to do some substitution again. So, wherever you have a letter, you're going to replace it with this value. Now, let's just set this first one up here. So this x is a 2. Now, there's a minus in our expression, but what is y? Well, y is a negative 5. Okay. So eventually this is going to become a positive. And then we have 12 plus our 2. So this is going to be 7 over 14, which is 1/2. And for b, something similar. You're going to replace the x with a 2 and the y again with a parentheses, because now you have a negative 3 and a negative 5 that you have to multiply. So negative 3 times negative 5 gives you a positive 15. Or if you kept the negative out there, you'd make this internally a negative 15. Then the opposite of it makes it a 15. And then adding them together gives you your 19. There's some more practice, helpful hints. Again, some of these might be useful to you. Okay, now you do get one like this on your math lab, I know. I recalled helping a student with it. The highest point is this high for Mount McKinley. Death Valley is this many feet below 0. So what is this total distance? Well, we find the difference in numbers by subtracting. But notice here we are subtracting a negative number. So when we do that, this will become a positive, as what they're showing here. So again, you have this much distance and this much more distance. You can see why you are adding this negative number eventually, which is because of the opposite of a number makes it positive. So this is a distance. This is a distance. The total distance is this. And they give you, let's look at this one here. This is something different. It says Tuesday morning the bank account was this. So we had 282. On Thursday, the account balance had dropped to a negative 75. Find the overall change. So that would be a minus a negative 75. So again, you're looking for a balance, and then it's going down lower still. So this amount, this is 0, this is negative territory. When you subtract, this negative here becomes a positive, and that gives you your answer. Okay. I think some of these are a little bit easy, and that's good. Okay, some basic definitions here. We have two types of angles from geometry. A right angle and a straight angle. Now, if you take two right angles together, you get a straight angle. Now, the angles that make up a right triangle, or I'm sorry, a right angle, they're called complementary, and their sum is 90. Angles that make up a straight angle, these angles are supplementary and will equal 180. And you might mix these up. So in the alphabet, C, A, B, C, and then you get S. So C comes first, and that's the 90, which is smaller. S comes later, which is 180. So kind of a way to remember them if you forget. Alphabetically, the smaller one is first. Okay? So if the two angles are XY, they equal 90. XY, they equal 180. That's background. Now, find each of the unknown complementary or supplementary angles. Well, the equation for this would be 90 equals X plus 38. So if you subtract 38, that will give you the answer of 52. And here it's 180 equals X plus 62. So if you subtract 62, that will give you 118. Again, you want a little idea. You need to know the definitions and then how it works. And that will wind this one up. 2 short lessons. Good.